That's exactly what they did. They blew the whistle. One of them was Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, his quote. I'm gonna read his quote. He said, "Since I entered politics, I have chiefly had men's views confided to me privately. Some of the biggest men in the U.S. in the field of commerce and manufacturing are afraid of somebody, are afraid of something. They know that there is a power somewhere so organized, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so pervasive that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it." So they're coming to the president, okay? And these are the big guys in commerce, manufacturing, and etc. And they're talking to him about an organized body that is big and deadly. And they are in fear, even talking to the president, talking under their breath, you know, that I might be heard. Let me say this in your ear. The room might be bugged, okay? Even though we've all bought into the American dream and we feel like, you know, being a little Negro born in the United States today in 1957, one day I could be the president. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and unfortunately, society has pushed us along to make us think that, yeah, one day, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, that is an American dream. It's an American dream of a little black boy to see Tiger Woods play golf that says, yeah, I think I could do that. There's an American dream to watch Michael Jordan that actually makes these boys go out and decide that they're going to practice playing basketball all day so that they can fulfill their American dreams. There are a lot of different type of American dreams. It's not that we ought to sail to be something that makes multi-million dollars. There are people with humble American dreams. It just depends on what you expect and what you want to get out of life.
Let me tell you about that sports thing as far as the American dream and the basketball and all that kind of stuff like that, where a guy can really play and you can start making the money. Back in the day, they used to fight slaves. You know, get you a big Negro and, you know, I wager you that my Negro can beat your Negro. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, they still do that. It's called boxing and wrestling.
It's called boxing. It's called basketball. It's called the NFL. You know what I'm saying? And the big slave that fought well and that brought his master money and everything, he got paid well. He got the best food. You know, he got the best wenches and everything. This, that, and the other. You know, he got a little respect in the community, in the neighborhood and everything. But he still was just a big nigga. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I don't say that because I wouldn't say Negro. I would say, because unfortunately, sports has no color. Sports is colorblind. So don't say like it's a big Negro because there are white people that play.
Exactly.
There are Mexicans. Exactly. There are Chicanos. There are all people who play. It's just what you're talented at. I don't look at it as a color barrier.
They getting pimped out too. They ain't nothing but modern day gladiators. You know what I'm saying? They're making a whole lot of money for somebody that don't even touch the ball. Somebody that, you know, owns the stadiums. A whole lot of people in suits are getting rich off of these dudes that are busting their legs, their knees, and everything else, and going to be broke, most of them, 5 years after they get out of the NFL or the NBA. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not impressed. You know, the fact that, you know, the big Negro is still getting a whole lot of money and he's still getting the best women and everything.
Well, you keep on taking it to the Negro. Keep taking it to the Negro.
Okay.
It's not a color thing. It's
the
big guy who gets in the suit.
Right, okay.
By the way, the Lions is going to the Super Bowl this year, people. Watch them. But anyway, back to the real stuff. Okay.
The Lions go to the Super Bowl every year.
They're going to play this year.
They sit in the audience and
They're
watch.
going to play. Don't listen to him. Don't listen. I'm telling y'all, anybody want to take bets, I'm going to get bets right after Thanksgiving.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Yes, when they are non-defeated. Okay, but anyway, seriously. Okay, let's just say.
Well, I'm not saying the big Negro. I understand that there are whites in the league and other races and everything else. But what I'm saying is the league is still what it was back then when they were fighting and boxing Negroes to the death and everything, or playing gladiators to the death. It's the modern day Coliseum.
Well, don't you think that the most American dream is to have a family, a nice car, nice money in the bank, a good job, no matter what the job is, but it's what you dream of as a kid. That's why they always say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know what I'm saying? What do you want to be? Well, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I want to be free when I grow up. I have not lost. My eyes are still on the prize. And a lot of us have like dumped the prize, because for black people, we have a different experience here in America than white people do, and we come from a whole different understanding and a whole different consciousness, and experience of what went down and what's going down, and the American dream really didn't apply to us, when they wrote these Declaration of Independence, like I said, and the Constitution and everything. Blacks were written in like 3/5 of a human being, and were in slavery, chattel slavery, and different things like that. I mean, they were selling your kids for extra bucks if they got a little uptight to down Mississippi River somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we weren't really thinking of the American dream and stuff like that. We were dreaming of freedom. That was always our prize. And even through the civil rights movement and everything, the prize, keep your eyes on the prize. The prize was freedom. It never was a Cadillac or a job in Congress or being equal. You know what I'm saying? Because you're really not going to be equal until you're free.
Well, I'm free.
You free?
Yeah, I mean, I just got to pay taxes. I got to pay. I'm free other than that. I guess what I'm saying is, I might not be free as far as not paying taxes, but in my mind, I'm free.
Yeah, in your mind.
In my mind, I'm very much free because I'm my own person to dictate my own way, to make sure that I'm going my own way. Okay. So in my mind, I don't feel like I have shackles on my feet.
Right. Well, anyway, let me read this right quick, because this is another president, and he was speaking to, the press corps, and he was talking about secrecy, and they call this. He made a great speech about secrecy in America, and as a matter of fact, they call this the speech that killed John F. Kennedy. He was a whistleblower. He said the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths and secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. And let me just read that part one more time, because I think that's very important, that there's a very grave danger. When presidents use the word grave, You know, they're talking about death. That it's almost a cold word. Where you tell a guy that if you do this, that'll be a grave mistake. You're basically in diplomatic terms telling him, you do that, man, we're going to kill you. Okay? But Kennedy was saying there's a grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it is in my control, and no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts that they deserve to know. Okay?
But that's, how long ago? Is that back in the 60s?
That's Kennedy. That's right.
Back in the 60s.
That's right. But
we're talking, let's move forward to the present. You got a president and what they're
in
saying?
The present, let me tell you, in the present.
That's in 67 though.
That grave danger. Listen, that grave danger that an announced need for increased security is here today. It's called Homeland Security. It's called the TSA. It's called the FBI and SWAT teams and federalized police and military. That what he spoke of has grown bigger than it's ever been. And he says right here in his speech, for we are opposed around the world by a monolithic, this is around the world, by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means of expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion. They infiltrate. On subversion instead of elections. You think you're electing somebody? They chose both people for you. You get Kerry or you get Bush, both of them in the skull and bones.
Excuse me, but you still get to choose who those people are. I mean, it's not like they go out and say, look, this is what we're going to put in here, this is what we're going to put in here. People still do have, even though they have the Electoral College, yes, I do understand that the Electoral College does overrule the common man's vote. But still, you still get a choice. Whether and I know this is where we differ. This is where we differ. No, yeah, that was a hijack of the voting at that time. But on a good conscious time, yes, you do get to go and pull the lever for who you want to. Now remember, I work the polls, so I already know.
Yeah.
I already know what really happens. So you do get that, man.
Yeah, they give you a choice. You get to choose. You get to pull that lever for Satan or Lucifer, or you can vote for the devil. Which one do you want? That's what they're giving.
Yeah, that's it. Lucifer, the devil. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Who is that today?
Arizona here.
Okay, Arizona. How you doing?
Not too bad. I thought I'd call in and give you guys a little clearer view on the American dream, but I was enjoying listening to you guys talk about it. In a minute, I will explain to you what's going on.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, 3,800 years ago, there was a guy by the name of Joseph who was kidnapped and taken to Egypt. If you're inclined to read a Bible, you know it talks about Joseph being hauled to Egypt and then getting in with the Pharaoh of Egypt.
Right.
Are you guys familiar with that?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me expound on it. Now, God sent Joseph a dream showing him that there would be 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. Now, Joseph was a little bit mad because he had been sold into slavery by his own family. And so when the famine came, of course, we all know he had collected huge amounts of grain. And when the famine came, Joseph sold the grain to the people of Egypt until the first year went by, and they had spent all their money buying grain so that they could eat. And of course, all that money went to the Pharaoh of Egypt, every dime of it. Joseph was honest. He handed it to the Pharaoh. And the big bankers of Europe are doing something that parallels this almost exactly, so pay attention. The next year, the people came to